And now, as promised, McEnroe and Barkley, part two. Pat Riley was here earlier talking about the Heat and the NBA, but we can't have you here and not have you weigh in. Where does LeBron James now rank all time?
He's in the top 10. And I've said before, I think by the time he finishes, I thought I would never compare somebody to Michael Jordan. But this kid is just amazing to watch. He's special. Like I say, he's already, in my opinion, now in the top 10. But depending on how many championships he wins, he's going to be in the conversation with Michael Jordan. I never thought I'd say that again.
Because he's still down 6-1 when it comes to the championships.
But it's going to be more difficult for him year in, year out to win that many. It's hard to win that many championships. But it's an honor and a pleasure to watch him play every night.
John, you're a Knicks fan. They have a better team this year. A lot of people fretted over Jeremy Lin going to Houston.
I was one of those, but it doesn't seem like we've missed much. We may be better, but I wish we had kept him.
Because there was a buzz about it.
The total buzz. My 12-year-old girl was the greatest day of her life when Lin lit up the Lakers that one game, and he got so many more people into it. So I was surprised they couldn't have figured a way to keep him, but I guess it's worked out.
The Knicks are playing very well. How energized are you and your fellow Knicks fans about a different Knicks-Nets rivalry? When the Nets were in New Jersey, they had no real identity, even though they went to the NBA Finals a couple of times. But now in Brooklyn, different deal.
Well, I grew up in Queens, so we didn't go to Brooklyn a whole lot. It was sort of an area that you stayed away from, you get in trouble. And now living in Manhattan, obviously I've been a huge Knicks fan my whole life, but I did go see the Nets back in the days with Dr. J in the Coliseum, so I was a Nets fan as well, and it became rather sad and pathetic to see what they went through, even when Jason Kidd led them to a couple NBA Finals. But I think it's absolutely awesome that the two of these teams actually are going to have, it's the beginnings, obviously, of a rivalry, but I think it would be fantastic for basketball and incredible for New York. I saw Charles announce that the Nets were going to win more games than the Knicks this year. I have to respectfully disagree, but they're both excellent teams. I don't think they're near Miami yet, obviously, but they're going in the right direction, both of them.
When you look at the teams on paper, and obviously games aren't played on paper, the Nets got a better team. They're bigger, they're deeper. Carmelo's a great player. I like Tyson Chandler, but Brooklyn has a much better bench, and they're gonna have a better season than the Knicks.
Let's go through some things rat-a-tat here. The Spurs controversy, where
overrated.
Popovich sends 4 guys home before a game with the Heat on national TV.
Very disappointed in the NBA. They do that every year. I mean, last year they had a 13-game winning streak, and he rested those guys. They prepare. They got an older team. They prepare to win the world championship. They know that they got to beat Oklahoma City and Memphis. I thought the NBA totally overreacted to that.
Change of subject here. Your alma mater, Auburn, 2 years removed from the national championship. Gene Chizik, bad year, out.
2 bad years.
2 bad years.
Yeah. I was disappointed because
no Cam Newton, didn't
no Cam Newton. We're in trouble right now because Nick Saban is I like Nick Saban. I think he's the best coach.
Alabama, bitter rival, will now play for the national title for the 3rd time in 4 years.
I'm not even Catholic, and I'm rooting for Notre Dame. I can't never root for Alabama.
Well, I am Catholic, and I grew up a Notre Dame fan, and Stanford's had a great year. So everything is looking just so wonderful in college football, and now you got what you want. You got Alabama to play Notre Dame. What more can you ask for?
It's a blockbuster.
2 national brands. Andy Murray's year. Gets to the Wimbledon final, then wins on the Wimbledon court at the Olympics. What would you take on that?
Well, he ended up 3 in the world, but I think it was great for him personally to get in that mix. But the truth is that I would point to Federer more, the fact that he still had the motivation to win Wimbledon for 23rd time. I think it was 7, but he's now got 17. That's unbelievable. Djokovic ended up outlasting Murray. Certainly made the Olympics, which was I experienced it for the first time, and I loved every minute of it. And Murray winning there, that was the first time I really saw a partisan crowd get behind him and make a difference, where it sort of deflated Federer, who never has been in a situation where the crowd was really noticeably against him.
Obviously, we have Serena on the women's side, but with Andy Roddick now retiring, there's almost no American man who you can look at. It's an international game and some of the best of all time are still active. But from an American side, it's tougher to generate interest. Am I
Well,
wrong?
I'd love to work with my pal here, Charles Barkley, and figure out a way to get some of the guys that are playing basketball and or football to see that tennis is a sexy and safe, perhaps a game for a lifetime. Look at these poor guys in football.
See, and I think, and I hate to say it like this, I think there's because it's going to sound harsh, this is a great opportunity for tennis, basketball, to us start getting some of these players. I wouldn't let my kids play football. Because
more and more parents are going to say that, even if they're football fans.
Because first of all, I don't think there's any way you could stop those guys from getting concussion. I think it's impossible. I think football is my favorite sport for that simple fact. It takes warriors to go out there. But on the other hand, I think you'd have to be crazy to let your kids play. So I think there's a great opportunity for tennis and the NBA for us to get a great influx of jocks.
Lightning round. Will your friend Tiger win another major?
Yes.
Several? Get past Jack? 4 back of Jack now.
I think that's going to be tough. But he's going to win. He won 3 times this year. He just didn't win one of those 4. I think he will win. But I think first of all, he's competing against all these kids he created. So these young kids come out there right now, I think it's hard to win because somebody's put it to me like this. Do I think from this point on, Tiger Woods is going to have Phil Mickelson's career? I'm like, wow, that's a good career. That's a great career.
Yep.
Is he going to win 4 majors? That's a great question, but I think he will win at least 1 more major.
How do you regard Lance Armstrong now, John?
I mean, I certainly look at him in a different way, but having said that, I think pretty much every athlete, it's safe to say, in that sport was involved with that. I mean, I don't, I don't know it well enough, but it seemed like he was the best at that, and if he had just eaten some humble pie earlier and not shoved it in people's faces, in my opinion, he'd be a hell of a lot better off than he is right now.
Lance Armstrong is a friend of mine, but anybody who is shocked that this stuff came out is an idiot. I mean, like, first of all, I think it's like he says, everybody in the sport's doing it. The one guy who has cancer, a remarkable story to come back and compete. To think he could beat those other guys who were cheating and not do it, you'd have to be an idiot to think that.
2 last things. RG3 or Andrew Luck? Not that they're both not terrific.
Yeah, that would be, I'd be happy to take either one. In terms of excitement, I'd go with RG3, but in terms of right now, slight edge to Andrew overall.
I'm going to go with Luck because I don't think he's going to be able to sustain all those hits.
That's true.
Like, it only takes 1 hit, and it changes your whole. I mean, he's already had the unfortunate way. I love watching him play, but listen, you're going to get hurt playing football. And if he don't get rid of that ball like Luck does, your human body can only take so much. Especially he's a little guy, too.